that gives you kind of a bit of an overview. I'm going to talk about industry research projects, just to give you a bit of background to what they are. The one thing we asked the question probably about 3 years ago was, what can we do with industry to help clients adopt and tailor best practices? I think if you read any kind of best practice framework, like whether it's Prince, MSP, or like PMR, they will always tell you that you need to tailor the project delivery approach and methodology to your organization. But it's kind of like easily said, quite difficult to do. So what we've done recently is to say, well, look, there's a whole set of different partners that we want to work with and do industry projects with. We've done a couple so far, and the kind of list is along the bottom of the kind of key targets that we're working towards. But it's very much, what can we do to help you tailor and use best practice in your project delivery approach? So in recent years, the first one we did was Praxis. I think we did that in 2023 with Adrian Dooley. So we built the Praxis framework as a digital playbook and made that available within the platform so teams can use it, tailor it, and right size it. And then obviously the big one that we're kind of known for is Pace. So we worked with Network Rail last year to build Pace Digital, which is Pace read-only platform for the industry, but also it gives clients the ability to use the Pace framework within the platform, and including Network Rail regions, to be able to tailor and adapt Pace for the execution of projects. So this year was, what's our kind of industry research project that we want to pick? And for this year, we've selected RIBA. And the main reason we've selected it is probably fundamentally the majority of playbooks that we've helped clients build is always been around the RIBA stages. And there's kind of two kind of core clients we have. We have the kind of consulting clients that are providing like project, cost management, design management services. And then we have the other flip side, which is the kind of intelligent client, which is, well, okay, that's great, but I actually need to take responsibility for the end-to-end life cycle and orchestration of the project. And really what we thought is, rather than trying to build from scratch every time, is to at least put the foundations in place, that there is a kind of playbook master that we have that would allow clients to fast track the development and tailoring of their approach to basically use RIBA. And sometimes it can be RIBA, or some clients will translate it and use CIOB, but essentially the first one for us is, can we get the RIBA play starter kit built to help clients rapidly sort of tailor and adjust the framework for their use in their projects. We've got a few design guidelines that we're working through, and we'll give you kind of an early view of the prototype as well that we're working on. The reason that I kind of said RIBA would be a really, really good example was it's pretty much oven ready, because if you look at the sort of RIBA plan of work, it's not too far off in terms of the way they've laid it out. It's quite logical, and it's laid out in a kind of playbook structure. So really the kind of challenge for the team is, look, how can we take RIBA plan of work, this huge RIBA job book, and start to translate it into a playbook. Now, RIBA doesn't cover everything of all the disciplines that we need, so we've had to kind of extend it and adapt it. But we're going to go through our kind of design thinking in this session. And very much please, if you've got any questions and ideas, the first kind of thing that we do for industry research projects is this type of session where we sort of tell you what we're going to do. And it's very important that ideally you give us the kind of feedback and ideas that would help us design it and shape it. But I'll leave that to the end, so we can have a conversation at the end. We're then sort of thinking about the different RIBA playbook perspectives, which kind of alluded to, which is, well, there's the intelligent client, and that's kind of, well, they would probably want to use the RIBA playbook to give them overview and control of the entire end-to-end life cycle. And that's obviously in terms of their kind of main drivers. Yes, can I see the end-to-end? Is it all connected? And can I see that we have developed kind of integrated team and ways of working? But also, can I make it scalable and repeatable? I've done one building, can I press a button and they'll have the playbook ready for the next project that we're going to do. So it's kind of more repeatable and scalable approach. The kind of contracted team, well, it's slightly different. It's kind of, well, look, we're only kind of commissioned for particular services, deliverables, and only really for specific stages. And it's really, how do we control the kind of what we're contracted to deliver and to make sure that that kind of meets the standards. There's a few kind of, when we built some of the RIBA playbooks, I'll come on to it, is when you're engaged as the kind of contracted team, what you might find is the client isn't that intelligent and hasn't done some of the things that they need to do in previous stages. So sometimes the playbook itself, quite broad, can help you with that kind of client sort of contracting relationship to say, by the way, we're in stage 2, but you haven't done X, Y, and Z in stage 1 or stage 0, and actually that's going to impact our ability to do it. So there's a way of improving collaboration. And then the kind of stakeholder viewpoint probably isn't the kind of direct prime, but essentially just making sure that we understand how we are going to engage with kind of end users, investors, the kind of regulatory bodies, all the third parties that need to be involved, and all of their kind of deliverables that are required in order to kind of meet compliance and regulation standards. Okay, so they were the kind of 3 perspectives, and then we kind of put it together and say, well, really what we're trying to do with the RIBA playbook is provide alignment and integration of different teams working together to try and achieve the same outcome. So yes, there will be the intelligent client, there will be the various different teams that are contracted to deliver the products and services, and then there'll be the stakeholders that are involved. And it's really just making sure when we construct this playbook that it facilitates and allows what we call kind of collective intelligence, which is everyone's clear on who's doing what, where we are, and what's the kind of next things that we need to do. But making that, rather than a kind of that imagined picture in your head that different teams are trying to work out, is trying to act as the kind of visualization of that for cross-functional, multi-diverse teams that are working in construction delivery.